doing? It's Aman El Ramada. Kind of going to freestyle one here. For one, I want to talk about the ability of oneself to block out the outside interferences that occur in this world. And it's really hard to do. I know it is. It's tough. But if you really take the time to practice your meditations appropriately, you'll be able to really block out any kind of outside interference. Now, these interferences come in different ways. You could have interference in meditation, like I just spoke of, but you could have interference in your ritual. You might be working your ritual. You might have kids. You might have dogs. You might have weird neighbors. I don't know, but many things come about that can interrupt you at any time. You could have interruptions in your daily life. The hassle of having to be, a human at times in this slave-controlled environment, at times can be really, really stressful, and it can really get in the way of your practice. And it's happened to me before. I've gotten good about kind of shaking it off, but at times it can kind of stick to me for a second. And it's not, the reason why I'm being honest about this and saying that is because some people are going to tell you, no, I don't let no outside interferences, and that might be true. I don't know. But I know for me that trying to balance being a father, 2 or 3 young boys, 2 of them which are in school, and they're the same age almost, and also we I'm still at the present moment working a job, a decent job, but it become that, and then you got my wife, and she goes to school. Right now she's in medical school, and all these different things, these different aspects that come at you in different ways. You got bills, you got working out. You have to try to really tune in your mind, body, and spirit together as one. Working out, meditation, which is working out your physical body, and meditation are really, really completely necessary. And a lot of people don't. I feel like a lot of times in these speakings in general, a lot of people forget to talk about the real importance of physical fitness. Okay, put yourself in the form of the deity or the entity or God or angel or demon that you're wanting to conjure, evoke, invoke, get messages from, information from, anything, any kind of, especially evocation. You put yourself in the shoes of the god, demon, angel, goddess, whatever you may be into, and them having to essentially go into your body. And if your body isn't completely, if it isn't in better shape, it can be a dragging experience for the spirit. I know on different occasions that with someone I was working with, and the spirit couldn't hold on in that body much longer because of the physical condition. It wasn't just being out of shape, but it was the other things such as alcohol problems and so on. There's reasons why a lot of these rituals, a lot of these rites, a lot of these spells that you read about, especially when you're dealing with evocation, says do not be drinking at this time. Also, me and a buddy of mine had to learn the hard way about drinking heavily and calling on an infernal spirit. And yeah, that's as much as I'll go. I won't even bring anything more up after that, but to let you know, it took a while to shake that off. Things, but what I'm getting at is the outside interference. For one, I'm not a Bible thumper, and I hate organized religion, but I do look at the Bible as a substantial source of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And in the Bible, it specifically talks about being equally yoked with your significant other. And if you're not, then and if you're a guy or if you're a girl, no matter what, and you're very spiritual and you're into magic, and the other one isn't, that can be really stressful and that can be hard on us. I think a lot of times people overlook that and they try to make things work in a situation that makes a situation that can make everything a little bit worse. So they try to work it out anyway, and understandably, maybe you didn't find magic until way after you've had children. Maybe you didn't find magic, maybe you didn't find any of this until way after that. And that can make it like really tough, you know what I'm saying? But if even your partner, if they're not really deep into it the way you are, if you can just get them to slowly start opening their mind and to even, just be there for your practice, and then that can change things, you know what I'm saying? That can really change different aspects. But then you'll find yourself having to balance things, okay? Because you're gonna have to do things that they want you to do too, and that's understandable. That's communication. But too many times we go for the wrong people into our lives, and if these people don't like really yoke together with what it is that you're building, you don't really need to be around them. And that's one thing it was hard for me to get at in my life was how could I, a long time I didn't understand that whoever I was around is who I was, and that you surround yourself around the people that you have a like mind with. And as long as that was happening, I was crumbling and I was disintegrating back into nothingness, not divine nothingness, but just death, and not good death. There's so many forms of dualism in the way we speak and what we know. You have to be real specific with things, and then you have the death of self, which is good, but you have death of life, which is not. And it took me a long time to realize that I needed to be people who were like-minded. I needed to get the right people in my life also to form a mastermind unit who had the same goals in mind, who had the same motivations, a money consciousness, a success consciousness, a spiritual consciousness. That's why you don't see rich people hanging out with poor people. And it's not because they're wrong for that. It's because a lot of them know that if you hang around the people who don't have the same kind of mindset, then you end up really hurting yourself in the long run. And it might seem wrong to some people to hear that, but that's really the way it is, and that's the way it has been for me in my life. And when I learned to put away all that extra stuff and to stay away from all that negativity, then and to eliminate negative entities that come through other people, then I really did well for me, especially with the way I am in my astrological chart. I'm an Aries, but I'm actually as much Pisces as I am Aries, and I absorb a lot of what's around me. I can be sensitive and emotional at times, and there's nothing wrong with that. And but the problem is that I have to maintain being grounded. I have to go outside. I have to put my hands on a tree and meditate and visualize, and a cord coming from my spine and going into the earth, and all the negativity leaving. And that's where a lot of this subject matter comes in. Meditation, finding a quiet place, finding a quiet time. Like, designate a time of day that you know that you're not going to have anyone bothering you. You're not going to have anything pop up out of nowhere, and if it is, it's away from you at the time. So keep your cell phone away from you. Keep anything that's going to alert you out of your that make you back, swing you back into consciousness. Make sure you eliminate all those things. You do that, and things become a lot better for your meditation. Balancing these things every day, it takes discipline. And that's what it's really about, is discipline. Are you going to discipline yourself to do the things that you need to do to make yourself better spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally? Or are you going to make excuses? And I'm not dogging no one, because I've done it myself, and at times it still happens. But for the most part, I try to keep my spirituality first. Even in the in Hermes' teachings, in Tahuti's teachings, it speaks a lot about putting God first, and what that means is putting your higher self first. It's not about no bearded fucker in the sky. It's about the higher version of yourself. Put that first, and everything else is going to fall into play. It's just like people used to say, you got to put your kids first. That's not necessarily true. If you put yourself before your kids, you are putting your kids first, because your kids are an extension of yourself, and you are an extension of your higher self. So also ritual. We need to all try to go into some kind of ritual every day. Every day there needs to be some kind of form of temple. And the reason why is because it becomes ingrained in you. You're living that lifestyle, and the subconscious becomes familiar with that part of you. It's not so weird and subtle out of nowhere whenever you do go in the ritual, if it's been a couple days or a week or two. I mean, it happens. So, steady practice. That's why we call it meditative practice, ritualistic practice, occult practice. It's because what practice is to make perfect, so that you can, put out perfection whenever you cast for your spells or for your invocations and evocations and stuff like that. Your planetary magic is a beautiful thing that I think a lot of people on social media forget to talk about. Also, if you got a tarot deck, or if you don't have a tarot deck, it's a good idea to work with the tarot a lot. The tarot can really help guide you. It doesn't necessarily tell the future, like some people think. It's not about being a fortune teller, okay? It's about the tarot is there to guide you into a stability and a balance in your life. That's really what the tarot is there for. Now, it will tell you if you got something good going, but in a blink of an eye, you can change that. And you might get a reading that might tell you that you have something going on, and that's when you need to know, okay, I need to change something bad, so you need to change something about it before it comes to pass. And that has helped me a lot of times. It's like, okay, well, boom, warning. Okay, well, let me switch this up a little bit, and it'll help guide you in your relationships, and it'll help guide you. I do tarot readings. I'm a great tarot reader. So if you do need a tarot reading, do not hesitate to contact me at iamtruth369@gmail.com, or YouTube or anything. But if you can read your tarot, if you can, and even I suggest that you do. I suggest that you start learning the tarot for yourself, because it's a very it's one of the most underrated tools, I think, in this world. But if you like, just a pop quiz real quick. How many people Led Zeppelin, the album cover with the guy in the lantern? Yeah, that's the hermit from the tarot deck. A lot of people don't know that, but that's what it is. Anyway, I got this badass shirt. Badass. Thoth, God of Science and Magic. Yeah, got it off of Amazon. I don't know who it is. It's like a thrown together type of shirt, but I love it. I dig it. I got me a couple of them. So anyway, I'm also I'm about to get into t-shirts, making t-shirts. A lot of them are going to be esoteric. Some of them not so much. Some of them are going to be pro marijuana. And it's a beautiful herb. But there's a lot of different things I got going on. There's a lot of different things I'm trying to get going on, and it's a lot of different things that are going on, and they will manifest. Like I said on my last video, things are manifesting left and right. Sometimes our humanity and our disillusion of time and our lack of understanding of planetary powers and what they're there for and what they do cause us to totally forget what it is that how things work, how things go, especially spell casting. And sometimes we think that it's supposed to be there in 7 days or 12 or 15. Sometimes it doesn't come for 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 years, 5 years. Okay, it's a process. A lot of it's a process. And I think a lot of people forget that. And I mean, there's things that I'm still getting now that I know for sure that I cast for around a year ago. There's stuff that I got going on now that I cast for about 4 months ago. And patience is a virtue. I got a lot of stuff I'm trying to get going on, and I will be updating all that stuff pretty soon. Until then, I forgot to talk about this. Just put a time to the side. Put a time to the side. Set your schedule and be disciplined about that schedule. Stick to your schedule. It's the little things we do that make us perfect. If we can perfect the small little things, those small little things become building blocks into bigger perfected things. And that has been so true for me in my life, and I know it'll be so true for you and yours. Set a time to meditate. Set the best time to ritual. If you're working with a specific deity, see what that deity's planetary alignment is, as well as, and then see what hour that planetary alignment is in, so on and so forth. Use that. Those things add pizzazz to your ritual. They really do. The perfection of everything you can do. If you're doing, for instance, if you're doing a money ritual for money, your cast for money, you need to go into ritual dressed like you're rich. You need to go into your ritual dressed like, I got money. And you have to have the understanding in your mindset has to be that I have money. It's there. I got it. That's the way that it has to be. And a lot of people forget those things. Physical fitness. Set aside a day or a time a day or a time every other day to get some kind of physical fitness in. Cardio and muscle and yoga. Yoga's great. I'd like to actually do a video on yoga. That's something I'm gonna work on. But there's so many different forms of physical fitness. And take it from a guy who lost 130 pounds. I've actually gained some of it back, probably can tell, but I'm still not where I was. So I lost 130 pounds, balanced diet, cardio, you name it. And I know what to do. So if you need any kind of consultation on that, let me know. I can tell you exactly what to do. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no big deal. You ain't gotta buy no video series for $29.95 for the first 6 payments or any of that shit like that. All you gotta do is consult, and that's what we do. That's what I like to do. I like to help people. My main objective is helping people. That's where the light shines, and I want people to know the truth, and I do not want people to be slaves. All right. Time. Use time to your advantage. Time is not the enemy. Without time, we couldn't stop diseases. Wars would never end. That's where Saturn does come in. That kind of limitation is valuable. So, till next time, Hail Thoth, Hail Tehuti, Hail Shemyaza, Hail Odin, Hail Lucifer.